Already got it.
With H, right?
Too cool.
That is the fourth. Why am I talking into this?
Sounds
He
funny.
failed the IQ test already.
Damn musicians coiling the mic.
I wish.
Around it.
Actually, when I was in my late 20s, I was taking tenor sax lessons, and my teacher, who was a white guy, heard me honking through the scales, and he goes, "You are the whitest saxophonist I've ever heard." And I got better, but not much. And that's why I'm up here trying to entertain in other ways. I was up here, I think it was 3 weeks ago, and I won't do the same material as though anybody remembers it. I do my best to remember myself. First of all, I'm a traffic reporter, news reporter on KRLD, which is a news station that's on the AM dial, so you probably need another dial. Yeah, 1080. Anyway, I was married for a bunch of years, and I tried to live a suburban life, which I kind of felt like a spy, because I grew up in the middle of the city. And I tried to, play the role. And when we had kids, I said, we had a lot of birthday parties to go to. All the kids have birthdays. It seems like every week there's a birthday party. And I said, well, this is cool, because I'm like a great package wrapper. I can fold all the lines, I can do all that stuff, and I do a great job at it. And I'm told by the mothers, no. We don't use wrapping paper, we use gift bags. Like, what? What? And I said, oh, I get it. So you can quietly snatch it back and fold it up and use it for another party. Come on. Now, I'll tell you what, I'll wrap the paper real loosely so you can just slide it out and cut the tape. I'll use a little tiny piece of Scotch tape and you can get it out that way. I said, don't you get it? It's Christmas time. It's like, this is the fentanyl the kids ripping the paper off. It's like, they come downstairs and they see like 15 gifts. It's like, ah! My daughter's like, real, I'm going to savor this for a couple of hours. My son's he's already through all his gifts. Doesn't even notice what the gifts are, but just the paper's flying all over the place. And it's Christmas morning, and nobody can tell him you have to clean up your mess, because that's his right, the rite of passage at Christmas time. But when he played Little League Baseball, that was kind of cool, because I'm a big baseball fan, and I got to participate as one of the dad coaches, unofficial coaches. I didn't want to be there all the time. But if aliens landed and they said, you've got 2 seconds to tell us, that's not one of them. If aliens landed and said, you have 2 seconds to describe different team sports, and they say, okay, or we're going to vaporize you, and they say, basketball, rectangle with the goal at each end, football, rectangle with the goal at each end, hockey, rectangle with the goal at each end, lacrosse, and on and on. They wouldn't believe you. They're just vaporized. They say, we're not that stupid that every sport is the same. But every sport pretty much is the same thing. It's just you could put a piece of candy on the ground and say, diabetic sport. Just push it with your nose from one end to the other. But baseball's a different animal. Baseball's got a lot of moving parts, the lefties, the righties, the shifts, the this, that. So to make it more understandable to 5-year-olds, what do? They put every father and grandfather and some guy in a raincoat scattered around the infield. Kids don't even understand the rules. They're trying to run from first to second. They look like American soldiers storming the beach at Normandy, trying to keep from getting shot, trying to find their way through. We get this kid up on my son's team. Tiny little Vietnamese kid. And it doesn't matter that he's Vietnamese, but I like to add a little color to the whole thing. And he hits the ball to third base, which means 4 adults are standing around, the kid's on the ground looking for the ball. There's no chance to get him out. And he's running to first, he's almost there, and the first baseman, who's 5, you can actually see the light bulb come on over his head, and he just blocks the base. And the second base, I thought, this is not going to work. The second baseman goes, oh, looks like a good idea, and he blocks the base also. But, we're going to have a big collision here. No, I'm coaching first. The Vietnamese kid running all of a sudden stops 3 feet short of the bag and just looks at me. And I'm like, what are you doing? There's no stopping in baseball. And I just grab him by the wrist and without thinking, I just snap. I just fling him into the first baseman and second baseman, forgetting that they're 5 years old, and they go flying like bowling pins, across the infield. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna like have me out of the mound and break the bat over my knee and escort me from the field. And I look kind of sheepishly over at our team's parents, and they're like, yeah, you show them, John, you show them. You show them, and I was like, yeah, all right. So now I'm on the right side again, and I said to the kid, I said, who was the batter? I said, that's your base, son, that's your base. And then they moved me out to the shortstop coaching position that they made up for me to get me away from first base. And some little kid on the other team, he looked like he was right out of a Far Side comic, if anybody's old enough to remember Far Side. A little fat buzz-cut kid with beads of sweat flying off his head. It's 96 degrees. He comes huffing and puffing up to second base, and he was on the other team, but come on, he's 5 years old. And so I leaned in and I said, good hustle, son, good hustle. And he goes, you're fat.
Oh my God.
And being really quick, I said, what? And I sucked in my gut. And he goes, you're fat. And I wanted to hit him. I couldn't hit him because he's 5 and we're out in front of everybody. But I had to teach him a lesson, because you can't go around he couldn't tell an 8-year-old you're fat and not get his head kicked in. So I thought as a lesson, I leaned in real close, only he could hear it, and I said, yeah, well, you're ugly. And I thought from his first line, he'd just go like, but no, he went the other way, went, oh! And I just went in for the kill. I said, and you'll always be ugly. And now he's like crying, And I'm thinking, oh, if only I could be a fly on the wall of his psychiatrist's office when he's 25. I was always ugly. But I felt like Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston. Get up, get up. But I had to spend the rest of the day looking over my shoulder, because I had no idea what truck driver was this kid's dad. When was I going to be, that's the man, that's the mean man. But then when my son was about 8, I seem to have a magnetic pull to police officers when I drive. So I said, listen, if a cop ever pulls me over, and thinking I might have been speeding, and says, is there a medical emergency? That's when I say, yes, my son is having terrible stomach cramps and I'm taking him to the hospital. I said, and I'll give you $20. We get off on that. He goes, I can't do that. I can't lie to the police officer. I'm thinking, this is a kid who has never met a lie he didn't like. The first thing out of his mouth every morning, is like some wild story. And I'd drop him off at school at the back door, and I'd stand there and watch to make sure he didn't slide right out the front door. Because we had taken him to a school dance one time in 3rd grade, that an evening dance, and the teacher said, oh, so you're in town. And his mom and I are like, what? He goes, oh, Nick told us that you were going out of town and you wouldn't be able to come to the dance. Like, okay, he's willing to lie to anybody now. So I said, listen. He goes, what if the cop wants to escort us to the hospital? I said, he's not going to. And if he does, you think he's really going to sit in the emergency waiting room for 3 hours at Parkland or something, stepping over bodies, waiting for them to call us? What we do is, if he should do that, you just go to the bathroom, hang out for like 10 minutes, and then come out and go, oh, I feel all better. I was just all clogged up. And I'll say, thank you, officer, thank you. I would like your badge and name so that I could write a letter of commendation to the police chief. And one time I took my daughter when she was 2, it was July 4th. And I took her to Lifetime Fitness, because something. And Lifetime Fitness was always great. At 5 in the morning, there are all these workout freaks there. You go, oh my God, do they sleep here? But there was nobody there. And it's huge. I mean, there must be 100 machines up there. There was nobody else upstairs. So I had left my 2-year-old daughter downstairs. And I see this woman who worked downstairs come walking up, and she's walking right towards me. And this woman, if you had met her out in society and she said, I'm an actress from Hollywood, I'm doing a movie with Brad Pitt, you would have not said, no way. I mean, she was a 10, a solid 10. I didn't know what she was doing at Lifetime Fitness. But she's walking towards me, and I'm looking around, I'm thinking, I'm not in her league. Why is she coming to me? And so I just, for no reason, start walking this way just to see. And sure enough, she changes direction and walks towards me. And then I think, oh, I think I need a drink of water. Now I'm testing the waters. And I walk towards the water fountain. Sure enough, she switches and walks towards me again. And in this moment, as she gets close, I'm thinking, the massage rooms are empty. This is a woman who, if I showed a picture to a divorce court judge and said, "Come on, Your Honor, would you have said no? Would you have said no?" And she came up and she said something that was like a peanut, it's like, and I'm like, "What?" She said, "Your daughter needs a diaper change." And I'm like, oh, kind of brought the whole mood down. And I'll finish with this story about when I lived in Los Angeles, and speaking of July 4th, it was another July 4th, and I was walking to the beach with a beer. I was drunk, I was walking, and I see the glint, in a very sunny day, the glint off what I realized immediately was a policeman's badge. And drinking and walking, drinking outside was not allowed there. And it stops me and goes, "Pour the beer out." I go, "Oh, come on, it's a Bex. You take it." No humor, no humor. So I said, so I'm pouring it. I said, "Oh, I'm glad it wasn't a Budweiser." Why is that? I said, "I'd hate to spend $25 for a Budweiser." Turned out it was $38. But when I got to court, after they put a note on my door, "Show up to court or you'll be a warrant," I tried to size the judge up. And he said, and I get up there and I said, "I am guilty," and he raises the gavel, "with an extenuating circumstance." As you can see, that ticket was written on July 4th, Independence Day. And if there's not room for a little extra compassion for celebrating this great judicial system of review that we are presently under, I don't know what to say. And he goes, and I look up at him, hoping he's smiling, but he's going like this, shaking his head. Oh. He goes, "Yes, I see that the ticket was written on July 4th, Independence Day, the day that we were celebrating this great system of review that we are under. And I'm wondering why you're showing up to court on March 30th. That'll do it for me. Sure, we had John Wolf, Jay Reddy. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, broke it again.
I feel like we're like judges.
Y'all keep it going for John Wolf. Come on.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Thanks for filing in, picking up open mic.